If you would only dare to feel it real, the entire world would reshape itself to match your assumption. For in the sacred silence of your imagination, you hold the power to rewrite your fate, not tomorrow, not next year, but in this very moment. The world is not happening to you, it is happening through you, and your feeling, your assumption, your inner conviction is the mold from which the outer world is cast. 17 seconds, that is all it takes. 17 seconds of unwavering focus, of deliberate inner vision, of full surrender to the state of the wish fulfilled, not a plea, not a hope, but the embodiment. In that brief moment, if you persist without wavering, you have set a force in motion that nothing on this earth can resist. It is not length of time, but intensity of knowing, that awakens the unseen and calls forth the seen. Let the image burn within you like a sacred fire. Let your body respond to it as though it were already true. What would you feel if it were done? What would your heart radiate? What would your breath say? Be still, and feel from the end, not toward it, not near it, but from it, that place where it is already complete, already yours, already now. When you do this, you collapse time itself, and what was once far away becomes present. 17 seconds of pure focus aligns your spirit with the frequency of your desire. Stay there just a little longer, and the world bends to your vision. You are not a beggar, you are not seeking permission, you are the operant power. All things are drawn to you as you hold firm in your inner stance, unmoved by appearances. The outer must conform to the inner. It is law. So enter the secret place. Close your eyes to the world and open your heart to the unseen. In those seconds become it, speak as it, move as it, smile as it. And when you return to the waking world, you will not wait in doubt. You will walk in knowing. Because you have touched the real, you have dared to feel it, to claim it, and in doing so, you have made it so. Let the world fall away for just a moment. Let the opinions, the doubts, the noise, let them dissolve. In the space of silence within you, where thought meets stillness, you become the creator. This is the sacred chamber of assumption, the temple not made by hands. And here, in this hallowed inner realm, you decide what is true for you, not based on evidence, not based on logic, not based on the 5 senses, but based on the authority of your own consciousness. There is a law, eternal and unfailing. That which you assume to be true, if persisted in, will harden into fact, not because the world responds to effort, but because the world responds to belief. You need not force, you need not beg, you only need to know. For the moment you know, the moment you dare to feel from the reality you desire, it becomes yours in substance, though not yet in shadow. And even if the shadow takes a little time to catch up the substance, so the substance is already yours. 17 seconds is not a test of time. It is a measure of intensity. If you can hold a thought clearly, vividly, lovingly, without contradiction, for even 17 seconds, you have initiated the movement. You have lit the fuse, you have dropped the stone into the quiet lake, and the ripples must go out. You may not see them with your natural eye, but they have already begun. The currents have shifted. The unseen is now reshaping the seen, bending it, guiding it, drawing it into perfect alignment with what you now know to be true. Do not confuse this work with daydreaming. Daydreams flutter and drift, untethered and passive. But assumption is sharp, it is specific, it is felt deeply and claimed boldly. It is not what if, it is this is. And the moment you say, this is, your world begins to echo back, yes. The mirror of reality waits for you to change your face, not your words, but your feeling. And when you change your inner posture, the reflection must change. It cannot help but do so, because it is only ever showing you your own self pushed outward. You do not manifest with effort, you manifest with identity. You become the thing you desire, not in flesh first, but in essence. You wear the feeling of it like a robe, you breathe it like air, you carry it like a name whispered only in the quietest hours. And when you carry it long enough, the world will call you by it, too. Because you are never becoming anything new, you are only revealing what was always waiting beneath the layers of doubt, fear, and delay. So when you close your eyes, do so with purpose. Let your vision be clean, your heart open, your mind quiet. Choose the scene you desire, not as a distant goal, but as a present reality. And now enter that scene. Don't watch it, be in it. Look through your own eyes, feel the warmth of it, the nearness of it. Smell the air, hear the laughter, touch the texture, speak from it. This is not a performance, it is not fantasy. It is the creative act of becoming. And if you can hold that scene with clarity for just 17 seconds, you will have planted the seed. And if you can do it again and again, if you can return to that state of consciousness with love and joy and certainty, the seed will grow. It must, because the soil of the subconscious is always fertile. It grows whatever you plant without judgment. You plant a fear and it grows. You plant a joy and it grows. The choice is yours. The responsibility is yours. And most beautifully, the power is also yours. You are not meant to chase. You are meant to embody. You are not here to struggle against reality, but to realize that reality is the servant of your inner world. You are not a victim. You are not at the mercy of circumstance. You are the one who speaks light into form. You are the one who says, "Let there be," and watches the world obey. When you feel from the wish fulfilled, do not concern yourself with how it will happen. The how is not yours to carry. It belongs to the deeper intelligence of creation, the divine pattern maker, the unseen orchestration that governs all things. Your role is simple: to decide what you desire, to assume it with feeling, and to live inwardly as though it were already done. That is the beginning and the end of your part in this great mystery. There will be moments when appearances seem to contradict your assumption. Let them pass. Do not react. Do not flinch. Do not step out of your inner knowing. Remain faithful to your unseen reality, because what you see with your physical eyes is but a shadow, a lagging echo. The true cause is within, and when you remain loyal to the cause, your feeling, your assumption, the echo must change. The outer must yield. This is law. Doubt will come. Let it pass. Fear will whisper. Let it pass. You need not argue with it. You need not fight it. Simply return to the feeling. Return to the state. Return to the inner scene where it is done. Make it so vivid, so real, so full, that the outer world begins to blur in comparison. When your imagination becomes more real to you than what your senses report, you are near the threshold of manifestation. The veil is thin there, the promise is near, you are always manifesting. The only question is, what are you manifesting? Are you doing it deliberately or unconsciously? Are you assuming the best or fearing the worst? Are you walking in the feeling of joy, abundance, love, peace? Or are you clothed in lack and waiting for proof? There is no waiting in this work. There is only becoming, and the becoming begins within. 17 seconds is the opening. It is the ignition, but it is not about counting time. It is about immersing yourself so completely in the reality you desire that everything within you says, "Yes, this is me now." And when that yes echoes through your body, through your breath, through your imagination, you will have done it. Not because the world will instantly reflect it, but because the seed is planted and nothing can stop its harvest. Remain gentle with yourself. Do not turn this into striving. Let it be sacred. Let it be joyful. Let it be light. You were never meant to battle for your dreams. You were only meant to accept them, to receive them, to know they are already yours. Walk like it, speak like it, sleep like it, dream like it. Your inner world is your only true reality, and from it all things flow. There is no power outside you that can deny you what you have claimed within. There is no circumstance stronger than your assumption. There is no delay that can stand against persistent inner knowing. Everything must bend. Everything must yield. The laws are set. The current of life flows in the direction of your sustained attention. Where your feeling goes, your life goes. So enter the state often. Live there, feast there, make it your home. Speak from it even when no one understands. Know it even when appearances mock it. And the day will come, quietly or suddenly, when the world catches up. And all will call you lucky, blessed, chosen. But you will know it was never chance, it was never luck, it was law, it was assumption, it was you holding your inner ground until the outer surrendered. You are the artist and the canvas, the dreamer and the dream, the speaker and the echo. Nothing is withheld from you except what you withhold from yourself, and all that is yours by divine right is already waiting within you, ready to be claimed, not with effort, but with feeling, not with striving, but with stillness, not with doubt, but with the quiet, steady knowing that says, I am it now, so go again, close your eyes, step into the vision, 17 seconds of truth, 17 seconds of light, 17 seconds of becoming, and watch what the world becomes in return. It does not matter what the world has told you. It does not matter how long it has been, or what has failed before, or how impossible it may seem. In the eternal present of your imagination, none of that holds weight. Time, as you know it, is a servant of consciousness. What the world calls the future is already complete within the eternal now, waiting only for your alignment. 17 seconds of undivided attention to the feeling of the wish fulfilled opens the gate between possibility and reality. Feel it now, not in theory, not as a game, but as truth. What would you feel if the thing you desire were already yours? What would change in your posture, in your breath, in your speech, in your silence? That feeling is not just a preview. It is the creative act itself. The world will not respond to your words unless they are saturated with belief. But even if no word is spoken aloud, if the feeling is deep enough, the echo will return. This is not about pretending. It is not about fooling yourself. It is about shifting your identity. You become what you assume yourself to be. You cannot manifest what you do not inwardly believe is yours. This is why the inner world must be tended to with care. You cannot afford to casually dwell in lack and then expect abundance to surprise you. You must nourish your imagination with that which reflects your highest vision. You must walk with it, feed it, honor it, until the line between inner and outer dissolves. Do not say, I will have, or I wish I could, for these are words that confess separation. Speak only from the center of it. I am, I have, it is done. These are the tones of creation. These are the sounds of a soul in alignment. And when your inner language harmonizes with the thing you desire, life itself moves to match your song. Events rearrange, people shift, circumstances bend, not because you fought to make it so, but because you assumed it was already true. The only obstacle is the mind that doubts. But even that, when brought under the authority of your vision, becomes a servant of the dream. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness that chooses which thoughts to entertain, which feelings to dwell in. Let the old stories fade. Let the former identity crumble. You do not owe allegiance to limitation, to failure, to wounds of the past. In this moment you can choose again, and that choice, when felt deeply enough, reshapes your destiny. What you feel in imagination becomes your prayer, not the begging kind, but the divine kind, the prayer of knowing, of claiming, of standing tall in the unseen as though it were already seen. And that kind of prayer is always answered, for it is the very substance of creation. All things come from consciousness, and your consciousness, when fused with feeling, is the birthplace of all miracles. You do not need to earn what is already yours. You need only to assume its reality. An assumption, when sustained, becomes fact. There is no need to convince anyone else. You are not here to persuade the world. You are here to embody the truth you have chosen. The world will catch up in time. The outer always follows the inner. It is law, and the law plays no favorites. It simply reflects what you persistently believe. You can rise each morning and choose your state. You can enter your day not as a reactor, but as a creator. Before the world speaks to you, you can speak to yourself from the end. And if, throughout the day, you return again and again to the feeling of the fulfilled desire, you are doing the holy work of creation. Not with strain, not with effort, but with devotion. Let the feelings of already having your desire become natural. Let them become familiar, comfortable, normal. This is the secret, normalizing the extraordinary. What seems far away becomes near the moment you decide to no longer be a stranger to it. When love feels like home, it will find you. When abundance is no longer foreign, it will arrive. When peace is your dwelling place, chaos has no entry. Every desire you hold is a promise already made. You would not want it unless you already had the means to embody it within. The desire is not a torment, it is an invitation. It is the voice of your higher self calling you to remember what is already yours. Do not argue with the call, do not delay. Step into the assumption of the answered prayer now, and all things will rise to meet you. There is no difference between the spiritual and the practical in this work. Imagination is not an escape, it is the foundation. From the unseen springs the seen, from the silence the song, from the invisible root the visible tree. You are not bypassing reality, you are forming it. And the mold is your inner state. Change that, and the world must change. What you repeat inwardly becomes your outer rhythm. So if you find yourself rehearsing old fears, shift. If your thoughts wander into lack, call them back. Gently, lovingly, return again to the state, enter the vision again, walk again in the scene, and do not be discouraged if it feels awkward at first. This is the undoing of a lifetime of unconscious creation. But with each return, you gain power. With each repetition, the state becomes more natural, and eventually it becomes who you are. You do not manifest by waiting, you manifest by becoming. You step into the vibration of what you desire and stay there, even when the world tempts you to look away. The test is not whether you can feel it once, but whether you can remain there long enough for the world to reflect it back to you. The furnace of transformation is patience, not passive waiting, but active inner knowing. Do not check for signs, do not measure progress. That is like digging up the seed to see if it has sprouted. Trust the process, trust the law, trust your inner world. The manifestation will arrive, not to surprise you, but to affirm what you have already claimed. It will feel like a remembering, like something coming home, because in truth it never left. It was always within you, waiting for your recognition. Even when you falter, the power remains. Even when you doubt, the seed is not destroyed. Return again, pick it up again, feel it again. This work is not about perfection. It is about persistence. And every time you choose the vision, every time you lean into the feeling, you are building the bridge of incidents that will carry you to its fulfillment. There is no striving here, only aligning. The more you relax into the knowing, the faster the current carries you. Resistance slows you down. Surrender accelerates. And surrender does not mean giving up. It means letting go of control and trusting the deeper current to guide you. That current is your feeling. That current is your assumption. That current is the echo of your divine identity saying, "It is done." And when you can say, "It is done," with peace in your heart, with joy in your soul, with certainty in your bones, then all the forces of life move to bring it forth. Not because you begged, not because you forced, but because you became. This is your gift. This is your inheritance. This is the truth beneath all appearances. You are the cause. So take the desire that lives in your heart and hold it in the sacred chamber of your imagination. Feed it with love, water it with faith, speak to it with tenderness, and then release it with joy, knowing it is done. You do not need to hold on to the how, you only need to remain in the feeling. The invisible hand will take care of the rest. All things will align, all things will come. You are the miracle you seek. You are the answer to your own prayer. The world around you is the outpicturing of the world within. And in just 17 seconds of focused, unwavering, saturated feeling, you can set in motion a new creation. Stay there long enough and the old will fall away. Stay there often enough and the new will arrive, not with thunder but with grace, not as a stranger but as a reflection. So close your eyes again. Enter the scene again. Become it, breathe it, feel it, speak from it, live it. For in those few seconds of holy awareness, you do not merely wish, you create. You must come to know this one thing. Everything begins with you. Not some things, not the small things, all things. There is no outer world separate from your inner conviction. What you carry in your imagination is what you will carry in your life. The world is only the mirror, and the mirror cannot reflect what you refuse to assume. So the work is not to change the reflection. It is to change the face that looks into it. When you say, I am, you summon all of creation. When you declare something about yourself, the universe listens and obeys. I am loved, I am wealthy, I am whole. These are not just affirmations, they are commands. When spoken from the depth of assumption, they rewire your reality. They mold the invisible into form. And the more you say them with feeling, the more the world begins to bow to your truth. There is no limit to what you can bring forth, except the limit you place on your own imagination. If you can see it inwardly, you can experience it outwardly. The imagination is not fantasy, it is the first cause. The blueprint, the sacred seed, and when planted in the soil of belief, it must bloom. It does not ask if the world agrees. It does not check for logic. It simply unfolds according to the pattern you have impressed upon it. So take your desire, whatever it may be, and wrap it in the fabric of your senses. If it is love you desire, then in the quiet, feel the warmth of arms around you. Hear the voice that speaks your name with tenderness. Do not watch it as if it were a movie. Be in it. Occupy the space. Dwell in the state. For the state you inhabit determines the life you live, and if it is wealth, do not see numbers on a screen. See yourself as the person who lives abundantly. What do they wear? How do they walk? What do they believe about the world? Let it become natural. Let it become so real that you forget it is imagination. Because when your inner world becomes more convincing than the outer must shift to match it. Do not worry if others cannot see what you see. They do not have to. This is your vision, not theirs. You are not responsible for their understanding. You are responsible for your assumption. You are responsible for the feeling you carry. And when that feeling is unwavering, when it becomes the silent rhythm of your being, the manifestation is inevitable. You are not manifesting things, you are manifesting states, and the things come as a byproduct of the state. So do not fixate on the form, focus on the feeling. If you can maintain the feeling, the form must arrive. It is a law as sure as gravity, but unlike gravity, this law responds to you. It shapes itself around your belief. It takes the shape of your inner vision. You may ask, but what if I cannot feel it clearly? Then return again, try again. The first time may be faint, like a whisper through fog, but keep going. The more you enter the state, the more real it becomes. The more you dwell in it, the more natural it feels. You are reconditioning your consciousness. You are building a new normal, and when it becomes normal to you, it becomes visible to all. Remember, you are not waiting for something to happen. You are aligning with something that already exists. You are not calling it from far away. You are bringing it into view. The supply is infinite. The source is within. And the moment you claim it with feeling, it begins its journey to you, not with struggle, but with flow. Not with delay, but with certainty. Even in the moments where doubt arises, you can choose again. This is not a path of perfection. It is a path of persistence. Doubt is not fail. It is simply a reminder to return to the state, to recalibrate, to reaffirm your inner truth. The moment you feel yourself drifting, pause, breathe, step back into the vision. It is always there, waiting. You can never truly lose it. You can only momentarily forget. The greatest power you possess is the ability to feel a thing as real before it is seen. This is the sacred gift. This is the creative faculty that turns dream into destiny. It is not about how hard you work. It is about how clearly you see, and what you see with feeling becomes your reality. Do not measure by appearances. They are always late. What you see is the past. What you feel is the present, and only the present has power. So stay faithful to the feeling, even when the world seems unchanged. The change is already underway. You have moved the root, and though the fruit has not appeared, the tree is growing. Invisible, perhaps, but inevitable. You may feel the urge to check. If it's working, resist that urge. You don't dig up seeds to see if they're sprouting. You water them. You trust, you wait, you know, and when the time is right, the bloom arrives. Your role is not to control the outcome. It is to remain loyal to the vision. This is your sacred act. This is the divine responsibility of the conscious creator, to hold the vision, to assume the feeling, to trust the process, to persist in the unseen, knowing that the seen is merely a shadow that must follow, and let every thought, every word, every breath become aligned with the assumption. Speak as if it were already true. Walk as if it were already done. Let your energy match the outcome, and the outcome will match your energy. There are no exceptions to this law. There is only practice or neglect. The more you practice, the more natural it becomes. And when it becomes second nature, the world begins to reflect it with such accuracy, you will forget that it was ever otherwise. You are not alone in this. You are never unsupported. The whole universe conspires with the one who assumes rightly. It bends, it moves, it stretches to fulfill the inner decree. This is the great mystery, that your world is nothing more than the echo of your own belief. If you are met with challenge, see it not as opposition, but confirmation. The old must shake as the new is born. The world rearranges itself to accommodate your new state, and sometimes that rearrangement looks like chaos, but do not fear it. It is only clearing space. Stay in the vision. Stay in the peace of knowing. Let the storm pass, and you will see the shape of your desire forming in the clearing skies. You need not convince the world. You need not explain your process. Your results will speak louder than your words ever could. The one who manifests with ease does not brag. They radiate. They walk with quiet confidence because they know that the world is their servant, not their master. 17 seconds. That's all it takes to ignite the fire, to begin the transformation. And if you stay there longer, if you return there often, you will find that you are no longer trying to manifest. You are simply living from your truth, and in that state, manifestation becomes effortless. It becomes natural, it becomes inevitable. You will see doors open where there were none. You will find yourself in the right place at the right time. The people you need will appear, the opportunities will align. Not because you chased them, but because you became the version of you that attracts them. This is the great unveiling, that you were always the one, that the power was never outside you, that what you seek has been waiting within you, waiting to be assumed, waiting to be felt, waiting to be expressed. So each day, return to your center, return to the stillness, return to the state. Let no one pull you from it. Let no circumstance distract you. Let no delay dissuade you. You are not hoping. You are knowing. You are not wishing. You are living. You are not seeking. You are being, and as you continue to hold that inner posture, again and again with faith and feeling, the world must bow. The world must yield. The world must become what you have already become within. You are already the embodiment of the life you seek. The life you desire is not distant or unreachable. It is not something you must chase, strive for, or earn. It is simply a matter of realigning your consciousness with the truth of who you are. In the depth of your being, you already possess everything you need. The universe has already delivered it to you in the form of your desire. Your work is not to force it into being, but to recognize it, to assume it, to feel it as though it were already here. Imagine for a moment that you are standing in the fullness of your desired reality. Feel the weight of it, the certainty of it, the completeness of it. Can you touch it? Can you sense it in your body? Can you hear it in your thoughts? This is where manifestation begins, not in the external world, but within you. It begins with your inner vision, and with your ability to enter that vision so fully that it becomes indistinguishable from your current reality. You might have heard it said that you must fake it till you make it. But this is not a matter of pretense. It is not about pretending to be something you're not. It is about stepping into the truth of your identity and aligning your feelings with the reality you want to experience. The key is in the feeling, the depth of the emotional connection you have to the vision. You must feel the fulfillment of your desire, not just see it or imagine it. Feel the joy, the peace, the relief, the gratitude, the love. Feel it in your body as though it is happening right now, and in that feeling, you align yourself with the frequency of the reality you desire. It is not enough to simply think, "I want this." It is not enough to look at your current circumstances and wish for a change. You must dive deep into the essence of your desire and bring it into your consciousness, as though it has already been realized. This is the magic. This is the power you wield. When you embody the feeling of your wish fulfilled, the universe has no choice but to conform to the image you are projecting. Your world reflects your internal state. Your external life is simply an outpicturing of your inner world. So ask yourself, what would it feel like to already have what you want? What would your life look like if your desire were already fulfilled? The moment you answer that question, you begin the process of creation. You begin the process of manifestation. For in that moment, you are aligning with the vibration of your desired reality. You are stepping into the flow of your creation, and as you do, the outer world must reflect it. If doubt arises, if fear creeps in, if the old story tries to surface, simply observe it. Do not fight it, do not resist it, but do not let it take hold. Acknowledge the thought, but do not allow it to define you. Your power is not in fighting against the old thoughts, but in redirecting your attention back to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. The moment you choose to feel that, you elevate your vibration and shift your reality. You no longer need to convince yourself that your desire is possible. You know it, you feel it, and that is all that matters. Remember, the world will reflect what you believe to be true. If you believe you are worthy of love, love will come to you in ways you cannot anticipate. If you believe you are deserving of abundance, abundance will flow into your life. If you believe you are powerful and capable, the opportunities you seek will reveal themselves. Your belief is the seed that grows into your reality, and when you plant the seed of assumption, it must bear fruit. But be patient. Patience is not about waiting for something to happen. It is about knowing that the unseen is just as real as the seen. It is about trusting the process and allowing the universe to unfold in its perfect timing. Do not get caught up in the how or the when. The how is not your concern. The when is not your concern. Your concern is the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and that feeling will set the events in motion. When you feel the vibration of your desire, it will be drawn to you effortlessly. Just as a magnet pulls metal to it, your vibration pulls circumstances, people, and events that match your state of being. The key is to stay in that state, to stay aligned with the feeling of having your desire, and to trust that everything you need is already on its way. There is no need to rush, no need to force. The universe is not slow, it is always working in your favor. But it must work with your vibration. If you are aligned with your desire, everything will align to bring it to you. The moment you step into the assumption of your wish fulfilled, you have taken the first step toward its manifestation. And with each step you take, you draw closer to your goal. But the key is not to chase the goal. It is to embody the feeling of the goal. When you do that, everything else falls into place. The right people will come, the right circumstances will arise, and the right opportunities will present themselves, all because you have become a match to your desire. So never let doubt or fear take hold of you. Your desires are yours for a reason. You would not desire something if it were not already within you, waiting to be expressed. The universe has already made provision for your success, for your happiness, for your fulfillment. Your job is not to struggle to attain it, but to align with it. When you do, it must manifest. The law of attraction, the law of assumption. These are not mystical concepts. They are universal truth. They are laws that govern your reality, and when you align with them, you will see the results. Every time you step into the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are strengthening the bond between you and your desire. And with each step, you are one step closer to seeing it materialize in the physical world. But do not focus on the time or the form it will come. What matters is the feeling of having it now. The more you can live in that state, the more you can embody it as your reality, the quicker the manifestation will come. So I encourage you to begin now. Take a moment today, close your eyes, and feel the presence of your desire. See it, taste it, touch it, hear it, feel the joy that comes with its fulfillment, feel the peace that comes with knowing that it is already yours. Stay in that feeling, dwell in it, let it become so real to you that it becomes impossible to deny. And as you do, you will see the world around you begin to shift. You will see the changes you have been waiting for begin to take form. You are the creator of your own reality. Your thoughts, your feelings, your beliefs, all of these shape the world around you. And the more you consciously direct your thoughts and feelings toward what you want, the more the universe will respond. It is not a matter of hoping or wishing, it is a matter of knowing and being. When you align with your desire, you cannot help but manifest it. So take the next step. Embrace the power of your imagination, the power of your assumption, and the power of your feeling. Stay in the state of your wish fulfilled, and trust that the universe will do the rest. The manifestation of your desire is inevitable. It is already on its way. All that is required is your unwavering belief and your steadfast commitment to living in the state of having. You are the master of your reality, and your desires are already within reach. All you need to do is assume it, feel it, and trust that the universe will deliver. And when you do, you will look back and wonder why you ever doubted that it was possible. The manifestation of your desires is not a future event. It is happening now, in the present moment. Your thoughts, your feelings, your assumptions are shaping your world, and everything is moving toward you. Trust the process, stay in the feeling, and watch as your dreams unfold before your very eyes. And so, as you stand here today, remember that the life you seek is already within your grasp. The key to unlocking it lies not in the outer world, but in the inner transformation you are willing to embrace. You are not waiting for something to come to you. You are bringing it to life through your own consciousness, through the power of your assumption and the certainty of your belief. The universe does not withhold from you. It only reflects back to you what you believe is true. And the moment you choose to believe in the reality you desire, you align yourself with its manifestation. It is not a matter of effort or struggle, but of alignment. You are not pursuing what you want. You are stepping into it. You are becoming it. So trust in your ability to manifest. Trust in the power of your imagination, the strength of your feeling, and the certainty of your assumption. Know that every desire in your heart is already yours to claim, and as you continue to live from this truth, you will witness the extraordinary unfold with effortless grace. Step into your vision, live in the fullness of your desire. Feel the reality of it as though it has already been fulfilled, and watch as the world responds, as the universe bends to the rhythm of your belief. Your dreams are not far away, they are already on their way to you. All you need to do is remain faithful to the truth of who you are and the life you have already claimed. You are the creator of your own reality. Embrace that power fully, for there is nothing you cannot manifest when you stand in the conviction of your own being. The moment you assume it, it is done, and so it is.
There is a power greater than any force of the world, a stillness that holds the key to all creation. It requires no words, no actions, and no outward signs. This power lies in silence, a silence so profound it shapes the very fabric of reality. When you desire something, your first instinct may be to speak, to act, or to seek. But the greatest secret is this: speak not of your desire. Instead, enter the sanctuary of your mind and imagine it already fulfilled. The world is but a mirror reflecting your inner state. What you whisper in the quiet chambers of your being is heard and answered by the infinite. In silence, your imagination awakens, See yourself as the person you wish to be. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, and the certainty as though it were already yours. This is not idle fantasy, it is the blueprint of creation. The external world bends to the power of an inner conviction held in the stillness of your soul. Why silence? Because in silence there is no contradiction. In the noise of the world, doubts creep in. You question, you fear, you analyze. But in the quiet, where no voice opposes, your wish takes root and grows. Silence is the fertile ground where belief flourishes. Be deliberate in your imaginings. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and rest in the knowing that it is done. Do not let the outside world sway you, for it is merely a reflection of your past imaginings. Hold fast to the vision in your silence and watch as reality reshapes itself to your desire. Faith is not shouting your dreams into the void. Faith is walking through the world as though they are already yours, detached from the need to explain or justify. Let your silence speak. It is in this state of quiet confidence that anything you wish will happen. Persist in your silence. Persist in your vision. The world may try to pull you back into its noise, but remember the secret of creation lies within you, in the quiet where imagination becomes reality. Be still, and know that your desires are already yours. The power of silence is one of the most profound tools in the process of manifestation. When we speak of silence, it is not merely the absence of sound, but a deep, intentional stillness that allows the creative forces within to operate without interruption. This silence is the space where ideas are conceived, shaped, and brought into reality. In silence, we discover the true power of the mind, a power that does not require the noise of words or the clamor of actions to express itself. In the world of creation, silence acts as the womb where desires are nurtured. To manifest anything, it is essential to retreat into this quiet space, shutting out the distractions of the external world. It is here, in this inward focus, that you connect with the source of all creation. The external world is but a reflection of the internal state, and silence is the bridge that allows you to travel inward and bring forth what you desire. When you are silent, you are free from the doubts and fears that often accompany spoken words. Words, while powerful, can sometimes carry unintended consequences. They may invite skepticism, judgment, or even self-doubt when shared prematurely. Silence, however, protects the purity of your desires. It creates a shield around your vision, allowing it to grow undisturbed by external influences. In silence, you engage directly with the imagination. The imagination is the workshop of the mind, and it requires focus and clarity to operate effectively. When you visualize your desire in silence, you eliminate distractions and create a vivid, undistorted picture of your goal. You see yourself as the person you wish to be, living the life you wish to live, with every detail as real as the present moment. This clarity of vision is essential for manifestation, as it sets the blueprint for reality to follow. Silence also allows you to cultivate the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Feeling is the essence of manifestation. It is the language that the creative force within you understands. In silence, you can immerse yourself in the emotions associated with your desire. You can feel the joy, the satisfaction, and the gratitude as though your wish has already come true. This emotional state is a powerful signal to the unseen forces of the universe, a declaration that your desire is already a reality. Moreover, silence enhances your ability to trust in the process. When you are silent, you learn to rely on your inner faith rather than seeking validation or reassurance from the outside world. You do not need to explain your desires or defend them to others. You do not need to argue or convince. Instead, you simply know with quiet certainty that your desire is on its way. This inner faith is unshakable because it is rooted in the understanding that the power to create lies within you, not outside of you. In the practice of silence, there is also a natural detachment that arises. Detachment does not mean you stop caring about your desire. Rather, it means you release the need to control the how and when of its fulfillment. You focus solely on the end result, trusting that the details will be taken care of. Silence supports this detachment by keeping your attention on the inner world of imagination and feeling rather than the outer world of circumstances and appearances. The world we live in often encourages noise, constant talking, planning, and reacting. Yet it is in silence that the most significant transformations occur. History is filled with examples of individuals who retreated into silence to discover their greatest insights and achieve their most extraordinary creations. In silence, you tap into a source of wisdom and power that transcends the limitations of the conscious mind. To harness the power of silence, practice regularly withdrawing from the noise of the world. Find a quiet space where you can focus inward without interruption. Close your eyes and imagine your desire as though it were already real. Engage all your senses in this mental exercise, feeling the reality of your wish as vividly as possible. Let the emotions of joy and gratitude flood your being. In this state of silent creation, you are planting the seeds of your future. Be mindful of your inner dialogue during these moments of silence. Pay attention to the thoughts and feelings that arise and gently redirect them toward your vision if they stray. The mind may wander, but with practice you will learn to maintain focus and clarity. This discipline is not about suppressing thoughts, but about choosing where to place your attention. As you continue to practice the art of silence, you will notice subtle but profound changes in your life. You will become more attuned to the whispers of intuition and the signs that guide you toward your desires. You will find yourself acting in ways that align with your vision, often without conscious effort. This is the natural result of the creative process set in motion by silence. The power of silence is available to everyone, yet few truly understand its potential. It is not a passive state, but an active engagement with the inner world. It is a deliberate choice to turn inward, to imagine, to feel, and to trust. In this silence, you are not waiting for your desires to happen, you are actively creating them. You are becoming the person you wish to be, and in doing so, you are reshaping your reality. Let silence be your ally in the journey of creation. Embrace it as a sacred space where all things are possible. Trust in its power, and you will see that anything you wish can and will happen. The inner voice is the architect of your reality, a constant companion that shapes your experience of the world. It is through this inner dialogue that you create the life you live, whether consciously or unconsciously. The power of this voice lies not in its volume, but in its intent and persistence. It is your constant self-talk, the silent conversation you hold with yourself day and night, that determines what you experience. Understanding this truth is the foundation of deliberate creation. Every word spoken internally carries creative power. Your inner voice acts as a directive force, issuing commands to the unseen reality around you. When you tell yourself, I am successful, I am healthy, or I am loved, you are laying the groundwork for these states to manifest in your life. On the other hand, when your inner voice is filled with doubt, fear, or negativity, you unknowingly build barriers to the very things you desire. The key, therefore, is to master your inner dialogue and align it with the outcomes you seek. The inner voice operates with a profound and unwavering influence because it is closely tied to your beliefs. What you repeatedly affirm to yourself becomes the foundation of your belief system, and it is through these beliefs that reality takes shape. If you affirm abundance and prosperity, you cultivate a mindset that perceives and attracts opportunities for growth. If you affirm lack and limitation, your mind filters reality through that lens, reinforcing scarcity. The inner voice is the programmer of your mental and emotional state, and by extension, the creator of your external experiences. When you understand the role of your inner voice as the architect, you realize the importance of consciously directing it. This does not mean forcing yourself into hollow affirmations or denying how you feel. Instead, it involves a deliberate shift toward nurturing thoughts that reflect the reality you wish to experience. This requires mindfulness and awareness of the habitual patterns of thought that run in the background of your mind. Pay attention to these patterns, for they are the blueprint of your current circumstances. The inner voice is most effective when it speaks from a place of conviction. There is a significant difference between saying, "I want to be successful and I am successful." The former implies lack, a desire for something not yet attained, while the latter affirms the state as already achieved. When your inner voice assumes the feeling of the wish fulfilled, it sets into motion the forces necessary to bring that reality into being. It is not enough to think positively, you must think from the end, as though your desire has already been realized. This requires imagination, the faculty through which the inner voice brings its creations to life. The imagination is the canvas, and your inner dialogue is the brush. When you vividly imagine the outcome you desire and accompany it with affirming inner speech, you give life to your vision. Imagine yourself living in the state you wish to achieve. Hear your inner voice expressing gratitude and joy for the reality you have created. These imaginings are not idle fantasies, they are the seeds planted in the fertile ground of your subconscious mind, ready to grow into tangible experiences. The subconscious mind does not discern between what is real and what is vividly imagined. It accepts as true whatever is impressed upon it with feeling and repetition. Your inner voice is the primary tool for this impression. When you persistently affirm a state of being, your subconscious mind accepts it as fact and works to align your external reality accordingly. This alignment is not always immediate, but it is inevitable if you remain steadfast in your inner dialogue. The importance of persistence cannot be overstated. Your inner voice may initially resist change, especially if it has been conditioned by years of negative or limiting beliefs. This resistance is natural, but it is not insurmountable. With patience and determination, you can reprogram your inner dialogue to reflect the life you wish to create. Every time you catch yourself thinking in a way that contradicts your desire, gently redirect your inner voice toward the positive affirmation of your goal. This practice is not about suppressing negative thoughts, but about replacing them with thoughts that serve your highest good. The inner voice is also a tool for maintaining focus and clarity. In a world filled with distractions, it is easy to lose sight of your goals and become entangled in the noise of daily life. Your inner dialogue serves as an anchor, reminding you of your intentions and keeping you aligned with your vision. When doubts or fears arise, your inner voice has the power to reassure you and reaffirm your faith in the process of creation. Speak to yourself as you would to a dear friend, with kindness, encouragement, and unwavering belief in your potential. One of the most empowering aspects of the inner voice is its accessibility. It requires no special tools, no external validation, and no approval from others. It is entirely within your control, available to you at every moment. This autonomy makes the inner voice one of the most effective and reliable instruments for transformation. You do not need to rely on circumstances or other people to change your life. You only need to change the way you speak to yourself internally. Mastering the inner voice is a journey, one that requires practice, patience, and a commitment to self-awareness. As you cultivate a positive and affirming inner dialogue, you will notice subtle shifts in your perception and experiences. Opportunities that once seemed distant will appear within reach. Relationships, health, and financial well-being will begin to reflect the changes you have made within. The outer world will echo the new story your inner voice is telling. The inner voice is not merely a passive observer of your life, it is an active participant and creator. When directed with intention, it becomes a powerful force for transformation. Through deliberate and consistent practice, you can harness the creative power of your inner dialogue and shape the reality you desire. Clarity of purpose is one of the most important elements in the process of creation, and it is through stillness that this clarity emerges. In the noise of everyday life, it is easy to become distracted, pulled in multiple directions, and overwhelmed by conflicting desires. However, when you enter a state of stillness, you create a space for focus, intention, and understanding to rise to the surface. This stillness is not passive or empty, it is a deliberate pause, a moment of alignment where the power of purpose becomes undeniable. When you quiet the mind, the true essence of your desires can be discerned. Too often, individuals attempt to manifest their wishes without fully understanding what they truly want. They are influenced by external expectations, fleeting emotions, or societal pressures, leading to scattered intentions and diluted efforts. Stillness allows you to strip away these distractions and connect with your deepest and most authentic desires. It is in this quiet space that you can ask yourself, what do I really want? What is the feeling I seek? The answers that emerge from stillness are untainted by fear or doubt, carrying a purity that aligns with the creative force within. This clarity of purpose serves as the foundation upon which manifestation is built. Without it, the mind becomes fragmented, unable to focus its energy effectively. Imagine a beam of light scattered across many directions. It is dim and weak. But when that light is concentrated into a single point, it becomes powerful enough to cut through steel. So it is with the mind. When you are clear about your purpose, every thought, every feeling, and every action aligns with that purpose, creating a powerful and unwavering force that brings your desires into reality. Stillness also enables you to tune into the subtle yet profound guidance of intuition. In the quiet moments of stillness, your inner being speaks to you, offering insights and solutions that might otherwise go unnoticed. These whispers of intuition often point the way toward your goal, illuminating paths that are both effortless and aligned. The rational mind, while valuable, is limited in scope, often constrained by logic and past experiences. Stillness allows you to transcend these limitations and access a deeper wisdom that sees beyond the present circumstances. Another significant benefit of stillness is its ability to dissolve resistance. Resistance is the internal tension that arises when your desires conflict with your beliefs or when fear and doubt cloud your mind. This resistance can block the flow of creative energy, preventing your desires from manifesting. In stillness, you create a space where resistance naturally dissipates. As you quiet the mind and let go of the need to control, you open yourself to the infinite possibilities of creation. It is not through force or struggle that manifestations occur, but through ease and alignment, which stillness fosters. Through stillness, you also develop a heightened sense of awareness, an ability to observe your thoughts and feelings without becoming entangled in them. This awareness is crucial because it allows you to identify any patterns or beliefs that may be hindering your progress. When you notice a thought that contradicts your purpose, stillness gives you the space to gently redirect it toward a more empowering perspective. This practice of observation and redirection ensures that your mind remains focused on your goal, free from distractions and negativity. Clarity of purpose does not require constant effort or struggle. It requires consistency and alignment. Stillness is the means by which you return to alignment whenever you feel disconnected or uncertain. By creating moments of stillness in your daily life, you cultivate a habit of intentionality, a practice of pausing to reconnect with your vision. These moments do not need to be long or elaborate. Even a few minutes of quiet reflection can have a profound impact, allowing you to realign with your purpose and renew your focus. Stillness also reveals the importance of simplicity in the process of manifestation. Clarity of purpose often means letting go of the unnecessary and the extraneous. It means focusing on one desire at a time, giving it your full attention and energy until it becomes reality. Trying to achieve too many things at once scatters your energy, diluting the creative power of your mind. Stillness helps you identify the single most important goal and commit to it fully, trusting that everything else will fall into place. The relationship between stillness and clarity of purpose extends beyond the mind and into the emotional realm. When you are still, you become more attuned to the feelings associated with your desires. You can fully embody the emotions of joy, gratitude, and fulfillment that come with the realization of your goal. These feelings are the language of the creative force within, a signal that you are in alignment with your purpose. Stillness amplifies these feelings, allowing them to permeate your being and resonate with the reality you wish to create. Stillness is not a state of inactivity, but a dynamic process of creation. It is in this state that you set your intentions with precision and allow them to take root in the fertile ground of your subconscious mind. Just as a sculptor begins with a clear vision of the form they wish to create, so too must you approach manifestation with a clear and focused purpose. The sculptor does not rush or force the process, but works patiently and deliberately, allowing the vision to emerge with each movement. Stillness provides the same opportunity for your desires to unfold naturally and harmoniously. Through stillness, you become a deliberate creator, one who moves with purpose and intention. You no longer rely on chance or external circumstances to shape your reality. Instead, you take full responsibility for your creations, knowing that clarity of purpose nurtured in stillness is the key to bringing your desires into being. This process is not a mystery but a natural law, one that operates with unwavering precision when you align your mind, emotions, and actions with your goal. Imagination is the creative force that shapes the reality we experience. It is through imagination that we give form and substance to our desires, transforming them from mere thoughts into tangible realities. Every aspect of the world around us, from the grandest achievements to the simplest comforts, began as an idea in someone's mind. Imagination is not a passive faculty, it is the active process of envisioning, feeling, and assuming the reality of what we desire to experience. This creative force, when harnessed deliberately, has the power to transform every area of life. To understand the role of imagination in creation, it is essential to recognize that everything in life follows an internal blueprint. This blueprint is formed in the mind, shaped by the images and ideas we hold. The subconscious mind, which is the seat of creation, does not question the reality of what it is shown. It accepts whatever is vividly imagined and felt as true, and it works tirelessly to bring this imagined reality into being. The key, therefore, is to feed the mind with images that reflect the life we wish to live, allowing imagination to act as the architect of our future. When we use imagination, we are not merely daydreaming or indulging in fantasy. We are engaging in a process of intentional creation. This requires clarity and focus. It is not enough to vaguely wish for something, we must see it in our mind's eye with vivid detail and emotional intensity. The more specific and real the image feels, the more powerful its impact on the subconscious mind. For example, if one desires a new home, it is not enough to think of a generic house. One must imagine the specific details, the colors of the walls, the view from the windows, the feeling of walking through each room. This vividness gives the subconscious mind a clear directive to follow. The true power of imagination lies in its ability to evoke emotion. Emotion is the language of the subconscious mind, the energy that brings imagined realities to life. When we imagine something with feeling, we create a vibrational alignment with the state we desire. This emotional resonance is what draws the imagined reality into our experience. It is not simply about visualizing, it is about living in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. The more we can immerse ourselves in this feeling, the more effectively we harness the creative force of imagination. Imagination also allows us to transcend the limitations of the present moment. It frees us from the constraints of the physical world, enabling us to experience a reality that has not yet materialized. This is a crucial aspect of creation because it shifts our focus from what is to what can be. By consistently imagining a desired outcome, we train our mind to expect and accept it as real. This expectation becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, as the subconscious mind works to align external circumstances with the internal vision. One of the most profound aspects of imagination is its ability to rewrite the past. While we cannot change the events that have occurred, we can change our perception and interpretation of them through imagination. By reimagining past experiences in a way that empowers us, we release the emotional burdens they may carry and create a new narrative, that aligns with our desired state of being. This process not only heals but also liberates us to create a future unburdened by the limitations of the past. Imagination requires discipline and practice. In a world filled with distractions and external influences, it is easy for the mind to drift into reactive thinking. Deliberate use of imagination involves consciously choosing the images and feelings we entertain. This practice is like tending a garden. We must carefully plant the seeds of our desires, nurture them with attention and emotion, and remove any weeds of doubt or negativity that threaten to choke their growth. With consistent effort, imagination becomes a powerful and reliable tool for creation. Imagination is also a source of inspiration and guidance. When we imagine a desired outcome, we often receive intuitive insights and ideas about how to bring it into reality. These flashes of inspiration are the subconscious mind's way of guiding us toward the fulfillment of our desires. It is important to act on these insights with confidence and trust, knowing that they are aligned with the vision we have created in our imagination. Furthermore, imagination influences not only our internal state, but also our interactions with the world around us. When we consistently imagine and feel ourselves as confident, successful, or loving, we project this energy outward, attracting people and circumstances that reflect it. The external world is a mirror of our inner state, and imagination is the tool through which we shape that state. By mastering our imagination, we become deliberate creators of both our inner experience and our outer reality. Imagination is not limited by time or space. It allows us to explore possibilities, experiment with ideas, and create new realities in the realm of the mind. This freedom is what makes imagination such a powerful force. When we embrace it fully, we realize that there are no limits to what we can create. The only constraints are those we impose upon ourselves through doubt, fear, or a lack of belief in our creative power. The process of creation through imagination is both simple and profound. It begins with a clear vision, fueled by intense emotion and sustained through consistent focus. As we engage in this process, we begin to see evidence of our imaginings taking shape in the world around us. These manifestations are not coincidences, but the natural result of the laws of creation at work. Imagination, when used with intention and faith, is the key to unlocking the infinite potential within us. The feeling of the wish fulfilled is the cornerstone of creation, the bridge that connects your inner vision with its manifestation in the external world. It is not enough to merely think about or desire something. You must embody the emotional and mental state that would accompany its realization. This principle is both simple and profound, as it shifts the focus from wanting a thing to experiencing it as already accomplished. It is this shift that activates the creative process and aligns your reality with your desires. To understand the power of feeling, it is essential to recognize that every emotion carries a vibrational frequency. This frequency acts as a signal, communicating your state of being to the subconscious mind and the broader field of reality. When you feel as though your desire is already fulfilled, you emit a frequency that matches the state of having. This alignment is the catalyst for change, drawing circumstances, opportunities, and events that resonate with your emotional state into your experience. The challenge lies in maintaining this feeling, particularly when external circumstances appear to contradict your desire. It is natural to observe the current reality and react to it emotionally. However, this reactive state often perpetuates the very conditions you wish to change. The feeling of the wish fulfilled requires a deliberate shift from reacting to circumstances to creating them. It is a practice of turning inward, of finding within yourself the emotional fulfillment you seek in the outer world. This practice begins with imagination. Close your eyes and picture a scene that implies your desire has already been realized. Make this scene as vivid and detailed as possible, engaging all your senses. See yourself in the situation you long for, hear the sounds, feel the textures, and most importantly, experience the emotions that arise from the fulfillment of your desire. Are you joyful, grateful, at peace? These feelings are the key, as they are the energy that brings your imagined scene to life. Once you have imagined the scene, dwell in the feeling it evokes. Let it saturate your being, as though it is the most natural state in the world. This is not a fleeting or superficial exercise, it is a deep and intentional immersion in the state of fulfillment. The more real it feels to you, the more effectively it impresses upon your subconscious mind. And the subconscious, once impressed, works tirelessly to align your external reality with this internal state. The feeling of the wish fulfilled is not a passive experience. It requires consistency and persistence, especially in the face of doubt or resistance. Doubts often arise because the current reality does not immediately reflect your desired state. However, the delay is not an indication of failure, it is a natural part of the process. Creation unfolds in its own time, and your role is to maintain the feeling of fulfillment until the external reality catches up. To maintain this feeling, it is helpful to develop habits of gratitude and mindfulness. Gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance, reinforcing the emotional state of having rather than wanting. Each day, take a moment to appreciate the things in your life that align with your desires, no matter how small they may seem. This practice not only strengthens the feeling of fulfillment, but also opens your eyes to the ways in which your desire is already present in some form. Mindfulness, on the other hand, keeps you anchored in the present moment, preventing your mind from wandering into worry or doubt. When you find yourself slipping into thoughts of lack or fear, gently bring your attention back to the feeling of fulfillment. Remind yourself that the external world is a reflection of your inner state, and that by sustaining the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are actively shaping your reality. It is also important to act as though your desire is already realized. This does not mean pretending or forcing yourself into inauthentic behaviors. Rather, it means aligning your actions and decisions with the state of having. For example, if you desire success in your career, begin to carry yourself with the confidence and professionalism that success entails. If you desire a loving relationship, treat yourself and others with the kindness and respect you would expect in such a partnership. These actions reinforce the feeling of fulfillment and create a coherent energy that supports your manifestation. The feeling of the wish fulfilled is powerful because it bypasses the barriers of logic and reason. It does not require you to know how your desire will come to pass, only that it already has. This sense of certainty and trust is what allows the creative process to unfold without interference. When you dwell in the feeling of fulfillment, you release the need to control or force outcomes, allowing the natural flow of creation to work on your behalf. Another aspect of this principle is the understanding that you are not creating something new, but revealing what already exists in potential. The state you desire is not separate from you, it is a reality waiting to be claimed. By feeling it as already true, you bring it from possibility into actuality. This realization is liberating, as it shifts your role from that of a seeker to a creator, someone who shapes their reality through intentional feeling. Ultimately, the feeling of the wish fulfilled is a practice of living from the end. It is a way of being that transcends circumstances and aligns you with the reality you desire. By consistently embodying this feeling, you transform your inner world, and as a result, your outer world begins to reflect the changes you have made within. The process is subtle yet profound, a reminder that the power to create lies not in force or effort, but in the quiet certainty of feeling. The subconscious mind is the silent yet powerful partner in the process of creation. It is the fertile ground where seeds of thought and imagination take root, growing into the realities we experience. Unlike the conscious mind, which is analytical and deliberate, the subconscious operates beneath the surface, shaping our lives through patterns, habits, and beliefs that are deeply ingrained. Its power lies in its ability to take whatever is impressed upon it and bring it to fruition, without question or hesitation. The subconscious mind does not discern between what is real and what is imagined, it simply accepts what it is fed as true. This is why the images, emotions, and ideas we hold consistently in our minds are so critical. They act as instructions to the subconscious, guiding it to create experiences that align with those inputs. This process happens automatically, but it can also be directed intentionally, allowing you to shape your reality in alignment with your desires. The key to engaging the subconscious mind is repetition combined with emotional intensity. Thoughts and feelings that are repeated often and with conviction become deeply imprinted on the subconscious. These impressions form the foundation of beliefs, which in turn influence every aspect of your life, from the decisions you make to the outcomes you experience. This is why it is vital to consciously choose the thoughts and feelings you entertain, ensuring they reflect the reality you wish to create. One of the most effective ways to communicate with the subconscious mind is through visualization. When you vividly imagine a desired outcome, complete with sensory details and emotional resonance, you create a blueprint for the subconscious to follow. For example, if you wish to experience abundance, you might close your eyes and picture yourself living in a state of financial freedom. Imagine the feeling of security, the joy of sharing your wealth, and the gratitude for the opportunities it brings. By repeating this visualization consistently, you impress the idea of abundance upon your subconscious, which then works to align your outer circumstances with this internal image. The subconscious is particularly receptive during moments of stillness and relaxation. States such as those experienced just before falling asleep or upon waking are ideal for impressing the subconscious mind. During these times, the conscious mind is less active, allowing direct access to the deeper layers of the mind. In these moments, affirmations, visualizations, or imagined scenes can be most effective, as they bypass the critical filters of the conscious mind and go straight to the subconscious. Another powerful tool for influencing the subconscious is affirmations. These are positive statements that reflect the reality you wish to create, spoken as though they are already true. For instance, instead of saying, "I want to be successful," you might affirm, "I am successful and thriving." The subconscious mind responds to the present tense language, interpreting it as an existing reality and working to make it so. To maximize the impact of affirmations, they should be repeated often and paired with the emotions that correspond to their meaning. Feeling the truth of the statement as you say it enhances its effectiveness, creating a stronger impression on the subconscious. The subconscious mind is also deeply influenced by habits and routines. Every action you take reinforces a corresponding belief or pattern within the subconscious. For example, if you consistently act with confidence, even in situations where you initially feel uncertain, your subconscious begins to accept confidence as your natural state. Over time, this becomes an ingrained belief, shaping how you perceive yourself and how others perceive you. By deliberately choosing actions that reflect your desired reality, you can reprogram the subconscious to support and sustain that reality. It is important to be mindful of the messages you send to your subconscious, whether through words, thoughts, or actions. Negative self-talk, limiting beliefs, and fears can all leave impressions on the subconscious that hinder your ability to create the life you desire. For instance, repeatedly telling yourself, "I am not good enough," reinforces a belief in inadequacy that the subconscious takes as fact. This belief then manifests in experiences that confirm it, creating a cycle that can be difficult to break. The way to interrupt this cycle is to consciously replace negative messages with positive, empowering ones that align with your goals. The subconscious mind is also highly responsive to emotions. Feelings such as joy, gratitude, and love carry a high vibrational frequency, creating positive and expansive impressions on the subconscious. Conversely, emotions such as fear, anger, and doubt carry lower frequencies that can block or distort the creative process. By cultivating positive emotions and focusing on the feelings associated with your desired outcomes, you create a harmonious environment for the subconscious to work its magic. Trust is another essential element in working with the subconscious mind. Once you have impressed an idea or desire upon the subconscious, it is crucial to trust that the process is underway. Doubt and impatience can interfere with the natural unfolding of creation, introducing conflicting signals that confuse the subconscious. Instead, maintain a sense of confidence and expectancy, knowing that the subconscious is always at work, even if the results are not immediately visible. The subconscious mind also has an extraordinary ability to solve problems and generate creative solutions. When faced with a challenge, rather than focusing on the problem itself, present the desired solution to your subconscious. For instance, instead of dwelling on a financial difficulty, imagine the problem resolved and feel the relief and gratitude that comes with it. The subconscious will begin to work behind the scenes, orchestrating circumstances and ideas that lead to the resolution you seek. In essence, the subconscious mind is a faithful servant, one that tirelessly carries out the commands it receives. The responsibility lies with you to ensure that these commands are intentional, positive, and aligned with your desires. By understanding the workings of the subconscious and cultivating a deliberate relationship with it, you unlock the power to transform your life. This is not a matter of chance or luck, but a natural and accessible process governed by principles that anyone can apply. Through conscious awareness and consistent practice, the creative power of the subconscious becomes a tool for growth, fulfillment, and the realization of your highest potential. Faith is the foundation of creation, the key that unlocks the potential within us to bring our desires into reality. It is through faith that we trust in the unseen, in the power of our inner world to shape our outer experience. Faith is not a passive belief, nor is it something that is reserved for religious or spiritual context. It is a dynamic force, a state of mind that aligns us with our desired outcomes and prepares the subconscious mind to act on those desires. To understand the role of faith in creation, we must first acknowledge that all creation begins with thought. Every idea, no matter how small, is a seed planted in the fertile soil of the subconscious mind. The strength of that seed depends on the belief we hold in its potential to grow and manifest. Faith is the energy that nourishes this seed, allowing it to flourish and bring forth its fruit. Without faith, the seed remains dormant, its potential unrealized. With faith, however, the seed grows, and the process of creation is set in motion. Faith operates on the principle of assumption, the idea that if we assume something to be true, our subconscious mind will align with that assumption and work to bring it into being. When we have faith in a desired outcome, we live as though it is already a reality, feeling the emotions associated with its fulfillment. This assumption is not a passive wish, it is an active, living belief that permeates our thoughts, actions, and emotions. It is through this assumption that we begin to see the outward manifestation of our inner desires. The power of faith lies in its ability to overcome doubt and uncertainty. Doubt is the natural enemy of faith, as it creates a contradictory force that weakens the strength of our assumptions. When we doubt, we send conflicting signals to the subconscious mind, undermining the very belief we are trying to cultivate. Faith, on the other hand, is a strong, unwavering force that persists even in the face of evidence to the contrary. It is the willingness to trust in the unseen, to believe in the possibility of the desired outcome, even when current circumstances may suggest otherwise. One of the most important aspects of faith is its ability to transcend the limitations of the present moment. Faith is not about seeing the evidence of the desired outcome before it happens. It is about believing in it before it materializes. This is where many people struggle. They look to their external circumstances to confirm the validity of their desires. However, the true power of faith is in believing first and then seeing the evidence follow. Faith requires a shift in perception, a willingness to see beyond the present and trust in the unseen forces that are at work in the creation process. Faith also requires patience. The process of creation is not always immediate. It takes time for the seeds we plant in our minds to germinate and grow. This is where many people falter. They lose faith when results do not appear instantly. Yet the law of creation operates in its own timing. And while we may not see immediate results, the work is being done in the unseen realms. Faith requires us to trust in the process, to know that our desires are already on their way, even when we cannot yet see them. When we trust in the process of creation, we shift our focus from lack to abundance, from the absence of what we desire to the presence of it. This shift is crucial because it aligns us with the vibration of our desired outcome. Faith is the key to maintaining this alignment, as it allows us to focus on the feeling of the wish fulfilled, rather than on the current reality, which may appear to contradict it. When we maintain this focus, we send a clear signal to the subconscious mind, and it responds by orchestrating circumstances that reflect our inner state. Faith also has a profound effect on our actions. When we have faith in our ability to create our desired reality, we act with confidence and purpose. We make decisions based on the assumption that our desires are already ours, and this assumption guides our actions, making them more purposeful and aligned with our goals. Faith empowers us to take bold steps even when the path is unclear, knowing that each step is part of the unfolding process. This confidence and certainty are contagious, inspiring those around us and attracting the circumstances and opportunities that support our goals. One of the most powerful ways to strengthen faith is through repetition. Repeating affirmations, visualizations, and feelings of the wish fulfilled creates a cycle of reinforcement that strengthens our belief in the desired outcome. Each repetition of faith deepens the impression in the subconscious mind, making it more likely that the desire will manifest. This practice is not about forcing belief, but about nurturing it, allowing the seed of faith to grow stronger with each passing day. Another important aspect of faith is the idea of trust. Trust is the belief that the universe, or the creative force, will bring our desires into reality in the perfect way and at the perfect time. Trust removes the need for control or manipulation, allowing us to surrender the how of the process to the subconscious mind and the natural flow of creation. When we trust, we free ourselves from the anxiety of trying to force things to happen, and instead, we allow the natural unfolding of our desires. This trust also aligns us with the flow of life, enabling us to move with greater ease and grace toward our goals. Faith is not about blind belief or wishful thinking. It is a deep, inner knowing that the desired outcome is already on its way. It is the firm conviction that the universe is responsive to our thoughts, feelings, and assumptions, and that what we have imagined is already in the process of becoming real. Faith is the unwavering belief that our desires are valid, that we are worthy of them, and that the creative forces of the universe are always working in our favor. Through faith, we tap into the limitless creative power within us, and through this faith, we begin to shape our reality. Faith is not a passive force, it is an active, dynamic energy that drives the process of creation. By cultivating a strong and unwavering faith in our desires, we align ourselves with the laws of creation and set the stage for our dreams to manifest in our lives. This faith is the force that propels us from where we are to where we wish to be, guiding us along the path of creation with confidence, clarity, and purpose. Living in the end, or living from the end, is a concept that forms the bedrock of all creation. It is the art of assuming that your desires are already fulfilled, even before they physically manifest in the external world. This principle is vital because it establishes a state of being that is in alignment with your desired outcome, allowing you to act, think, and feel as though the desired situation or condition has already occurred. It is a powerful technique that enables you to bridge the gap between what is and what can be, creating a harmonious connection between your inner world and your external reality. To live in the end is to fully embrace the emotional and mental state of already having what you desire. It is not simply wishing for something, nor is it hoping that it will eventually come to pass. Rather, it is the act of embodying the feelings, thoughts, and behaviors that would naturally arise from the fulfillment of that desire. It is a shift from the state of lack or wanting to the state of fulfillment and abundance. When you live from the end, you stop seeing yourself as a person who is striving for something and instead recognize yourself as someone who has already achieved it. This shift in perspective has profound implications on your subconscious mind and your ability to manifest your desires. One of the most important aspects of living in the end is the realization that the external world is simply a reflection of your inner state. The outer world does not create your inner world, rather, it is a mirror of the thoughts, feelings, and beliefs that you consistently hold within. When you live from the end, you are essentially altering your internal state to match the desired outcome. This alignment sends a powerful message to your subconscious mind, which in turn works tirelessly to manifest that reality in the physical world. The subconscious mind does not question the reality you create through your assumptions and emotions. It simply accepts them as truth and begins to organize your external experiences to match. The process of living in the end requires a conscious decision to abandon the need for evidence or proof in the present moment. It is natural to want to see some form of external validation before fully committing to the idea that your desires will come to fruition. However, the key to living from the end is to release the need for this external validation and instead focus on the internal experience of having. When you live in the end, you make the internal world your priority, knowing that the outer world will eventually catch up with your assumptions. This practice can be most effectively achieved through visualization. By vividly imagining a scene that represents the fulfillment of your desire, you create a mental image that acts as a beacon to the subconscious. For example, if you desire a new home, imagine yourself already living in that home. Picture the layout, the furniture, the view from the windows, and the feelings of comfort and joy that come with it. As you immerse yourself in this visualization, you are aligning your emotional and mental state with that of someone who has already achieved their goal. This emotional state is the key to living in the end, when you can fully feel the emotions that would accompany the fulfillment of your desire. You begin to resonate with the reality you wish to create. Living in the end also requires discipline and persistence. It is easy to be swayed by external circumstances that appear to contradict your desires. When things are not going as planned or when results do not appear immediately, doubt can creep in, pulling you out of the state of living in the end. This is where persistence becomes crucial. It is essential to maintain the assumption of having, regardless of the current circumstances. Your persistence in living from the end creates a vibrational alignment that draws the desired outcome to you, even when there seems to be no logical reason for it to materialize. The power of living in the end also lies in the practice of detachment. This does not mean giving up on your desires or ceasing to care about them. Rather, it means releasing the attachment to the how and when of their fulfillment. When you become overly focused on the timing or the specifics of how your desires will manifest, you often hinder the natural flow of the creation process. Living in the end involves trusting that the universe or the creative power within you will bring about the fulfillment of your desires in the perfect way and at the perfect time. Your role is to align yourself with the feeling of having, and the universe will take care of the rest. Another key component of living in the end is the ability to act as if. Acting as if is an extension of living in the end. It is about embodying the state of being that aligns with your desires. If you desire financial abundance, for example, you might begin to take actions that reflect the confidence and freedom of someone who already has that abundance. This does not mean spending recklessly or pretending to have more than you do. Rather, it means making decisions and choices that reflect the reality you are creating. By doing so, you reinforce the assumption that your desired outcome is already in place, which strengthens the connection between your inner world and the external world. Living in the end also involves letting go of the belief in a gap between where you are and where you want to be. Often people think that there is a long journey ahead of them before they can achieve their desires. This belief creates a sense of separation between their present reality and their desired reality. To live from the end is to eliminate the sense of distance and recognize that the desired outcome is not something far off in the future, but something that already exists in the present moment. When you live in the end, you stop measuring the distance between where you are and where you want to be, and instead focus on the feeling of already having arrived. The practice of living in the end is transformative because it changes your relationship with time and space. Time no longer becomes a barrier to the fulfillment of your desires, and space no longer limits the manifestation of your goals. When you live from the end, you transcend the limitations of linear time and recognize that the only time that matters is the present moment. Your internal state, your assumptions, and your feelings are the true creators of your experience, and they are not bound by time or space. In essence, living in the end is about becoming the person who has already achieved what you desire. It is about embodying the emotional and mental state of fulfillment, regardless of external circumstances. This powerful practice shifts your energy from that of a seeker to that of a creator, allowing you to manifest your desires with clarity, confidence, and ease. By consistently living from the end, you align yourself with the reality you wish to create, and the world around you begins to reflect this inner state of fulfillment. In conclusion, the principles explored throughout this journey highlight the transformative power of thought, belief, and inner alignment in creating the reality we desire. We began by understanding the importance of silence and faith in shaping our lives, recognizing that our thoughts, emotions, and assumptions have the power to influence our subconscious mind and ultimately our external experiences. By maintaining a consistent and deliberate focus on the end result, rather than the current circumstances, we unlock the full potential of our creative power. Living from the end, assuming the feelings of the wish fulfilled, and trusting in the subconscious mind's ability to bring our desires into being are all key components of this process. The subconscious mind works tirelessly behind the scenes to bring our inner visions into our outer reality, and it does so most effectively when we embrace the power of faith, trust, and persistence. We also learn that living in alignment with our desires requires us to overcome doubt, detach from the how and when, and confidently act as if our dreams are already realized. The essence of all these principles lies in the understanding that creation begins within us. By nurturing our beliefs, shaping our inner world, and maintaining unwavering faith in the unseen, we can manifest our desires with clarity and purpose. It is through this process of inner alignment that we become the creators of our reality, capable of transforming our lives in ways that reflect our highest aspirations. Have you ever wondered why some prayers remain unanswered, or why some desires seem eternally out of reach, no matter how often you speak of them? Could it be that words, no matter how eloquent, lack the true power to create? Tonight, I invite you to consider a truth that has always been present, yet often overlooked. Creation is not born of words, but of vibration, of feeling. Words, though powerful in their ability to articulate, are but shadows of the deeper forces within. The true creative power lies in the feeling behind the words. If you merely speak of wealth while feeling lack, or talk of love while vibrating with loneliness, your words will fall on barren soil. The subconscious, which is the gateway to creation, does not hear words. It feels the vibrations you embody. Your imagination, when married to feeling, is the creator of all that you see. It is not enough to describe what you desire. You must feel as though you already have it. Imagine the fulfillment of your wish, and more importantly, feel the joy, the satisfaction, the peace of its reality. This is the secret that has been hidden in plain sight, the law of assumption. When you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you align yourself with its vibration. The world outside, which appears so solid and fixed, is but a mirror reflecting the state of your inner being. Change your vibration, and the reflection must change. This is not a theory to be debated, but a truth to be experienced. There is a difference between saying, "I am wealthy," and feeling wealth as the present reality. One is an empty declaration. The other is a vibrational alignment. Words are empty without the life that feeling breathes into them. To create, you must bypass the intellect and move into the realm of feeling, for it is the feeling that impresses the subconscious. Consider this. If you were already the person you wish to be, how would you feel? What would your life look like? What would you hear, see, or touch? Now dwell in that state. Let your imagination construct the scene, but let your feelings give it life. Remain faithful to this state, not as a hope for tomorrow, but as a reality now. Creation is finished. All that you desire already exists in the infinite potential of the present moment. Your task is not to create from nothing, but to bring the unseen into visibility by assuming its feeling. To feel is to vibrate. To vibrate is to create. Faith is not the belief in something unseen, but the acceptance of it as real now. By living in the vibration of your wish fulfilled, you make the unseen seen. Trust this process, for it is the divine law by which all things come into being. Speak less of what you want and feel more of what you are, for it is not words, but vibrations that shape your destiny. Have you ever paused to consider the profound truth that everything you see, touch, and experience in this world is not separate from you, but is instead an extension of your imagination? The secret lies within you, waiting to be unearthed. This inner power, often dismissed or misunderstood, is the very essence of creation. All things in your life, whether you deem them good or bad, are born of your imagination, for it is the one and only reality. When you look upon your world, you're not observing something independent of yourself. Instead, you are witnessing the outpicturing of your inner state of being. Your imagination is not some fleeting thought or idle fantasy. It is the divine creative force that brings forth all things. You may think that the events of your life are the result of external causes or random chance. But this is an illusion. The world outside you is but a reflection, an echo of the inner world you carry. The mind often tricks us into believing that we are at the mercy of circumstances. But this is the great fallacy of humanity. Creation does not happen to you. It happens through you. You hold the key to this truth within your imagination. By understanding and directing this divine faculty, you can transform your life in ways that seem miraculous to the uninformed observer. Sometimes, close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself in a place of great peace. Imagine yourself surrounded by the people, experiences, and things that bring you joy. Notice how real this feels to you. Though your physical senses may tell you it is not happening, your inner experience declares otherwise. What you just felt was not mere daydreaming. It was the act of creation. This is how all things are made. The great secret is that imagination is not separate from reality. Imagination is reality. The moment you imagine something with feeling, it exists. Perhaps not yet visible to the outer senses, but it is as real as the chair you sit on or the air you breathe. This is not a theory to be debated, but a law to be lived. Creation is finished, and all that you could ever desire already exists. Your imagination is the means by which you call it forth from the infinite. You may ask, if imagination is the only reality, why do I not see the results of my desires? The answer lies in your state of consciousness. To create intentionally, you must dwell in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It is not enough to think about your desire. You must think from your desire. This distinction is subtle yet vital. Thinking about something keeps it at a distance, while thinking from it brings it into being. When you imagine, you are planting seeds in the fertile soil of the subconscious mind. These seeds are not planted by idle thoughts or fleeting wishes. They are planted through sustained attention and feeling. Feeling is the life force of your imagination. Without it, your visions remain lifeless and barren. But when you imbue your imaginings with feeling, you set the wheels of creation in motion. To understand this is to grasp the truth of your creative power. You do not need to beg, plead, or strive for the things you desire. You only need to imagine them with conviction and feel their reality as if they are already yours. This is the law of consciousness. Whatever you imagine and feel to be true will externalize itself in your world. You may wonder how such a simple process can hold so much power. The answer lies in the nature of the subconscious mind. The subconscious does not reason or question. It simply receives impressions and brings them to fruition. Your imagination is the tool by which you impress the subconscious, and feeling is the means by which these impressions are sealed. Look around you. Everything you see was once imagined. The chair you sit on, the clothes you wear, the building you stand in. All of these began as an idea in someone's mind. But it was not the idea alone that brought them into existence. It was the sustained feeling of their reality that gave them life. The same is true for the events and circumstances of your life. They are the product of your inner states, whether consciously or unconsciously created. This is why it is imperative to take control of your imagination. If you do not direct it with purpose, it will create by default, and your life will reflect the chaos of undisciplined thoughts. But when you consciously use your imagination to dwell in the state of your desired end, you take the reins of creation into your own hands. And now, being really serious, our planet cannot coexist in the same space at the same time. Creation is not a future event. It is a present activity. Right now you are imagining your future into being. The question is not whether you are creating, but what you are creating. Are you imagining from a place of fear, doubt, and limitation, or are you imagining from a place of love, abundance, and freedom? Your imagination is the divine spark within you. It is the power that shapes your destiny and molds your world. To master it is to master life itself. Begin now. Close your eyes and imagine the life you desire. Feel it as real. Know that as you do, you are not merely wishing for something, you are creating it. This is the truth that will set you free. Have you ever stopped to reflect on what truly moves the invisible forces of creation? It is not your words, not your actions, not even your most fervent desires. What moves the creative power of the universe is your feeling. Feeling is the secret, the sacred force that transforms imagination into reality. Without it, Your desires are mere shadows, lacking the vitality to manifest. Think of this. If you were already the person you wish to be, how would you feel? This simple question holds the key to all creation. To feel is to believe, and to believe is to have. Feeling is the bridge that connects the invisible world of imagination with the visible world of form. It is the language of the subconscious mind, the aspect of yourself that shapes every experience in your life. The subconscious does not hear your words or analyze your intentions. It feels your state of being and brings it into expression. Imagine a seed planted in fertile soil. The seed does not grow because you wish it to or because you tell it to. It grows because it receives the nourishment it needs, water, sunlight, and nutrients from the earth. Similarly, your imagination is the seed, and your feeling is the nourishment that brings it to life. Without feeling, your imagined desires remain dormant, lifeless. But when you infuse them with the feeling of their reality, you set the creative process in motion. There is no power outside of you that determines your fate. You are the operant power, and your feeling state is the engine that drives all creation. This is why it is so essential to live in the feeling of your wish fulfilled. To dwell in the feeling of lack or fear is to create more lack and fear. But to feel as though your desire is already realized is to align yourself with its fulfillment. Honor your desire of this moment. Imagine your creation. Bring it to fruition. Feel unlimited. You are not waiting for your desire to come to you. You are bringing it to yourself by embodying its essence now. Your feeling is not an abstract concept. It is a living reality. To feel is to know. When you feel something deeply, you accept it as true. You may not see it with your physical eyes, but your feeling declares its reality. And because feeling impresses the subconscious, it is only a matter of time before what you feel inwardly becomes your external experience. Ask yourself, what would it feel like to be the person I wish to be? What emotions would I experience if my dream were already a fact? These questions are not idle musings. They are the doorway to creation. The moment you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you begin to rewrite the script of your life. This is not mere positive thinking or wishful dreaming. It is the deliberate and conscious act of creation. Do not be deceived by appearances. The world you see is not fixed or permanent. It is a mirror reflecting your inner state. If you wish to change the reflection, you must first change the cause, your feeling. The outer world is nothing more than an echo of your inner vibration. To transform your life, you must transform your inner state, and the most direct way to do this is through feeling. This is why it is said that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Faith is not blind belief. It is the deep, abiding feeling that your desire is already yours. When you feel the reality of your desire, you are exercising faith in its fulfillment. You are affirming that what you imagine is real, even if your senses deny it. The greatest mistake you can make is to wait for the evidence of your desire before feeling its reality. This is to put the cart before the horse. The evidence will not come until you feel the reality first. Creation begins and ends within you. You must feel the end as though it is already accomplished, and then let that feeling move you. This is not a difficult practice, though it requires discipline and persistence. The mind is accustomed to reacting to the world, to taking its cues from external circumstances. But to create intentionally, you must reverse this process. You must act as though the world within you is the only reality, and the outer world will conform to it. Feeling is the secret because it bypasses the intellect and speaks directly to the subconscious. You may convince yourself of many things on a rational level, but if you do not feel them to be true, they will not take root. This is why affirmations or spoken declarations often fail. Without the feeling to back them up, they are empty words, incapable of influencing the creative process. Think of the times in your life when you felt something with certainty, whether it was joy, fear, or expectation. Did not your outer world shift to reflect that inner state? The principle is universal and works whether you are aware of it or not. Feeling is the one and only substance from which your reality is formed. Now consider this moment. What are you feeling right now? Are you dwelling in the feeling of your fulfilled desire? Or are you consumed by doubt, worry, or longing? This moment is the only time you have to create. The past is but a memory, and the future is a projection of your current state. By changing how you feel now, you change the trajectory of your life. Feel this practice today. Close your eyes and imagine the scene that implies the fulfillment of your wish. Feel it as real, as though it is happening now. Dwell in that feeling until it becomes natural to you. And as you do, know that you are impressing the subconscious with the reality of your desire. In time, what you feel within will be revealed without, for this is the law of creation. Feel it, and it is done. When you speak, do you believe that your words alone have the power to create? Many do. They repeat affirmations, recite prayers, and speak endlessly about their desires, thinking that the act of speaking is enough to bring their dreams to life. Yet they find themselves disheartened when their words seem to go unanswered. This is because words without the corresponding vibration of feeling hold no creative power. For the reality rejects this until you find your feet in the ground. You finally realize what was always present. The true essence of creation lies not in what you say, but in the vibration you embody. The vibration of your being is the unseen force that molds your reality. It is not your outer actions or the words you utter, but the state of consciousness you inhabit that determines what manifests in your life. Every vibration you emit is a message sent to the universe, and it is this message, not the words you speak, that is reflected back to you. The world does not respond to what you say you want. It responds to who you are. Imagine for a moment that you are in a conversation with someone, telling them how happy and successful you are, but inside you feel anxious, doubtful, or defeated. Your words may express happiness, but your vibration contradicts them. It is the vibration, the feeling beneath the surface, that is heard and answered. This is why so many affirmations fall flat. They lack the resonance of truth because they are spoken from a state that denies their reality. To create intentionally, you must shift your focus from words to vibration. Words are merely symbols. They can guide your attention, but they cannot create unless they are infused with feeling. Feeling is the language of creation, the force that moves mountains and shapes your world. It is the invisible thread that connects your inner state with your external reality. Consider the moments in your life when you felt something deeply. Perhaps it was a moment of pure joy, a sense of accomplishment, or even an overwhelming fear. Notice how quickly your world seemed to respond to that feeling. Opportunities appeared, relationships shifted, or events unfolded in alignment with your inner state. This is the power of vibration in action. Your world is a mirror, faithfully reflecting the vibration you hold. This is why it is said that as you believe, so shall it be done unto you. Belief is not a matter of intellectual agreement. It is a vibrational state of certainty. To believe is to feel the reality of your desire so deeply that it becomes a part of you. You do not need to convince anyone else of its truth. Your vibration speaks louder than any words ever could. When you focus on vibration rather than words, you step into the true creative process. You begin to understand that your outer world is not something to be controlled or manipulated. It is something to be aligned with. The conditions and circumstances of your life are not random. They are precise reflections of the vibration you maintain. To change your world, you must first change your vibration. How do you do this? By living in the end, by assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled. This is not a superficial exercise, nor is it about pretending. It is about embodying the state of being that matches your desire. If you wish to experience abundance, you must feel abundant now. If you desire love, you must vibrate with the essence of love. The outer world has no choice but to conform to the vibration you hold. Words can guide you toward the state you wish to embody, but they are not the source of creation. They are tools, like signposts pointing you toward a destination. If you read a sign that says success, the sign itself does not bring you success. It simply points the way. In the same manner, your affirmations and declarations can guide your attention, but it is the feeling, the vibration, that brings the destination into view. This is why it is said that creation begins and ends within you. The world outside is not the cause, it is the effect. To spend your energy trying to manipulate the effect is to miss the point entirely. True power lies in turning inward, in cultivating the vibration that aligns with your desire. When you do this, you no longer need to force or struggle. The outer world will align itself effortlessly with the vibration you hold. Think of your vibration as a tuning fork. When you strike a tuning fork, it emits a specific frequency, and other objects that resonate with that frequency begin to vibrate in harmony. The same principle applies to your life. When you vibrate with the feeling of your wish fulfilled, everything that matches that vibration is drawn to you. The outer world cannot resist the inner resonance. This is why you must be vigilant about the vibration you emit. Pay attention not to your words, but to the feeling behind them. Are you speaking of abundance while feeling lack? Are you declaring love while vibrating with loneliness? Your vibration cannot be fooled. It is the true measure of your state of being, and it is the signal that the universe responds to. The beauty of this truth is its simplicity. You do not need to force change in the outer world. You do not need to speak endlessly about what you desire. All you need to do is align your vibration with your desire and trust the process. The creative power of the universe is always working, always responding to the vibration you hold. Let go of the need to convince others or even yourself with words. Instead, focus on embodying the vibration of your desire. Feel it as real, dwell in its essence, and know that it is done. In this state, you are no longer a seeker, but a creator. Your vibration becomes the cause, and the world around you becomes the effect. This is the law, and it works unfailingly for all who understand and apply it. What does it mean to think from the end? It is a question worth pondering, for in its answer lies the secret to transforming your life. Thinking from the end is not merely about imagining a future outcome. It is about inhabiting it fully in the here and now. To think from the end is to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, to live as though your desire has already materialized. It is the art of claiming that which you seek by becoming it in consciousness. Consider this. If your desire were already realized, how would you see the world? How would the world see you? These questions are not abstract. They are the foundation of creation. To think from the end is to align yourself so completely with the state of your fulfilled desire that it becomes the only reality you know. It is to act, think, and feel as though your wish has already been granted and will give. When you think of your desire, you place it at a distance. You see it as separate from yourself, something to be attained in the future. But when you think from your desire, you bring it into the present moment. You collapse the gap between where you are and where you wish to be. This is not wishful thinking or idle daydreaming. It is a deliberate act of creation, grounded in the understanding that consciousness is the only reality. The world you see around you is not fixed or immutable. It is a reflection, a projection of your inner state. When you think from the end, you shift your inner state to match the reality you wish to experience. The outer world has no choice but to conform to this new state of consciousness, for it is bound by the law of reflection. The change must first occur within you, and the world will follow. This is why it is said that creation is finished. Everything you could ever desire already exists in the infinite potential of consciousness. You are not creating something new. You are simply aligning yourself with a specific state of being. To think from the end is to claim that which is already yours in the realm of imagination. It is to bring the invisible into visibility by living in the feeling of the fulfilled desire. Imagine for a moment that you have already achieved your greatest dream. Close your eyes and see yourself as the person you wish to be. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the gratitude of having attained your goal. Notice how your posture changes, how your thoughts shift, how the world looks through the eyes of this fulfilled version of yourself. This is the essence of thinking from the end. You are not waiting for the evidence to appear. You are creating it by embodying the state of your desire. The subconscious mind, which governs the manifestations of your life, does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It accepts as true whatever you impress upon it with feeling and belief. When you think from the end, you impress upon the subconscious the reality of your desire. This impression becomes the blueprint from which your outer world is shaped. Many people falter because they allow the evidence of their senses to dictate their beliefs. They look at their current circumstances and say, "This is my reality." But the senses are not the source of truth. They are the result of previous states of consciousness. To rely on the senses is to perpetuate the past. To think from the end is to break free from this cycle and create a new reality from within. You do not need to know how your desire will come to pass. The how is not your concern. Your only task is to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and trust that the means will be provided. The creative power of the universe is infinite and knows no obstacles. It will move heaven and earth to bring about that which you claim as true in consciousness. Doubt and fear have no place in this process. They are the enemies of creation, for they pull you out of the state of the wish fulfilled. To think from the end requires unwavering faith, a steadfast commitment to the reality of your desire. When doubt arises, remind yourself that the outer world is but a shadow of your inner state. Change the inner, and the outer must follow. Search yourself in the inner state, and the outer must follow. To live in the end is not to deny your current circumstances, but to rise above them. It is to see beyond appearances and claim the truth of your imagination. When you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are not ignoring the facts of your life. You are transcending them. You are choosing to dwell in a higher reality, one that reflects your true desires. This practice requires discipline and persistence. The mind is often resistant to change, clinging to familiar patterns and beliefs. But as you continue to think from the end, these old patterns will dissolve, replaced by the new state you have assumed. The more you dwell in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, the more natural it will become, until it is the dominant vibration of your being. Your imagination is the workshop of creation, and thinking from the end is the tool that shapes your desires into form. Do not underestimate the power of this simple practice. By assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you align yourself with the infinite potential of consciousness and bring forth the reality you desire. It is not a matter of effort or struggle, but of alignment and faith. Begin now. Close your eyes and see the world as it would appear if your wish were already fulfilled. Feel it, believe it, live it. This is the art of thinking from the end, and it is the key to unlocking the limitless power within you. The world will respond to the reality you hold in consciousness, for it can do no other. Live in the end, and know that your desire is already yours. The act of imagining is not a passive experience. It is the most powerful and deliberate act of creation. When you imagine something, you are not merely picturing a scene or an event. You are entering into a reality, crafting it with the substance of your consciousness. To imagine is to create, for the world you see is nothing but the outpicturing of your imagination. Everything you experience, every person, every event, every condition, is a reflection of what you have imagined, whether consciously or unconsciously. You may wonder why imagining holds such power. The answer lies in the nature of consciousness itself. Consciousness is the one and only reality, the source of all that exists. Everything begins and ends in consciousness, and imagination is the tool by which consciousness expresses itself. When you imagine, you are not merely observing. You are shaping, molding, and forming the very fabric of reality. Consider the simplicity of this truth. What you imagine with conviction and feeling becomes your experience. The subconscious mind, which governs the manifestation of your world, does not argue, question, or doubt. It accepts as true whatever is impressed upon it through imagination. When you imagine a scene and feel it to be real, you impress the subconscious with that reality. This impression is the seed from which your external world grows. The key to effective imagination lies in the intensity of your focus, and the depth of your feeling. It is not enough to simply see a mental picture. You must feel as though you are living in the scene you have imagined. Feeling is the secret, the catalyst that transforms imagination into reality. When you imagine with feeling, you awaken the creative power within you and set the wheels of manifestation in motion. Just as you might focus on the rain with meditation, you might also focus on the rain that trickles down your glasses. Imagine for a moment the life you desire. See it clearly in your mind's eye. What do you see? Who are you in this imagined world? How do you feel? The details of your imagination matter, but even more important is the emotion you associate with it. When you imagine with feeling, you claim that reality as your own. You are not wishing or hoping for it to come to pass. You are declaring that it is already so. This is why it is said that imagination is the way to the infinite. Through imagination, you transcend the limitations of the physical world and enter a realm of limitless possibilities. There are no obstacles in imagination, no barriers or constraints. In this infinite space, you are free to create, to dream, to bring forth anything you desire. When you align your imagination with the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you are operating from the infinite, and the finite world must yield to your vision. And one of the most remarkable aspects of imagination is that it works unfailingly, whether you are aware of it or not. Every moment of your life, you are imagining something. Your current circumstances are the result of past imaginings, whether deliberate or unconscious. This is why it is so essential to take control of your imagination. If you do not direct it consciously, it will be directed by the beliefs, fears, and doubts that dominate your mind. To master the art of imagination, you must discipline your mind. You must learn to focus your attention on the reality you wish to create and hold it there with unwavering faith. Distraction is the enemy of creation. When your mind wanders, it scatters the creative force of imagination. But when you concentrate your attention on a single vision and infuse it with feeling, you harness the full power of consciousness. The practice of imagining is not confined to specific times or places. You can engage in this act of creation at any moment, wherever you are. Close your eyes and enter the scene of your desire. See it, feel it, live it. Make it as vivid and real as possible. When you open your eyes, carry the feeling of that imagined reality with you. Let it permeate your thoughts, your actions, and your interactions. The more you dwell in the feeling of your fulfilled desire, the more natural it becomes, until it is the dominant vibration of your being. You may wonder how long it takes for your imagination to become your reality. The answer lies not in time, but in your conviction. The moment you imagine something with absolute certainty and feeling, the process of manifestation begins. Time is merely a delay between the inner creation and its outer expression. Trust the process and know that your imagined reality is already yours in consciousness. Doubt is the greatest obstacle to effective imagination. When you doubt, you disrupt the creative process and undermine your vision. To overcome doubt, remind yourself of the law, as within, so without. The outer world is a reflection of your inner state. If you wish to see a change in your circumstances, you must first change your imagination. The beauty of this practice lies in its simplicity. You do not need special tools, resources, or conditions to imagine. You already possess everything you need, for imagination is the natural function of consciousness. It is your birthright, your divine gift, and your greatest power. Through imagination, you can rise above any limitation, overcome any obstacle, and create the life you desire. Begin now. Take a moment to close your eyes and enter the world of your imagination. See the scene that represents your fulfilled desire. Feel it as real, as though it is happening now. Let the feeling of your wish fulfilled fill your heart and mind. When you return to the world of senses, carry that feeling with you. Let it guide your thoughts, your words, and your actions. Through imagination, you hold the key to the infinite. Use it wisely and know that the life you desire is already within your reach. By imagining your wish fulfilled and feeling it as real, you align yourself with the creative power of the universe and bring forth a reality that reflects the beauty, abundance, and joy of your inner vision. The act of living in the end is not a vague aspiration. It is the most profound and deliberate approach to transforming your life. To live in the end is to dwell in the state of consciousness that aligns with the fulfillment of your desire. It is not merely to think about your goal, but to inhabit it fully, to make it the dominant reality of your inner world. This is the key to manifestation, for what you embody in consciousness becomes the world you experience. Consider the life you wish to lead. Perhaps it is a life of abundance, love, success, or health. Whatever your desire may be, ask yourself this: if it were already true, how would you feel? What thoughts would occupy your mind? What actions would flow naturally from this state of being? These questions are not idle musings. They are the essence of creation. To live in the end is to answer these questions with the full conviction of feeling, and to make that state of being your dwelling place. Living in the end requires a shift in focus from the external to the internal. The outer world is not the cause but the effect, a shadow cast by the light of your inner state. If you attempt to change the shadow without altering the light, you will find yourself in a constant struggle. But when you align your inner state with the reality you wish to experience, the outer world must conform. This is the law of consciousness, unyielding and universal. To live in the end is to claim your desire as already fulfilled. It is not to wait for evidence or validation from the senses. The senses are bound to reflect the state of consciousness you inhabit, but they are not the source of creation. The source lies within you, in the imagination and the feeling of the wish fulfilled. When you dwell in this state, you bring the unseen into visibility and the intangible into form. Imagine for a moment that you are already the person you wish to be. Close your eyes and see yourself as this individual. Notice how you carry yourself, how you speak, how you interact with the world. Feel the satisfaction, the confidence, the joy of being this person. As you do so, you are not engaging in mere fantasy. You are aligning yourself with the reality you seek. This alignment is the act of living in the end. Doubt and fear may arise, for the senses often contradict the reality you wish to create. But these emotions are only obstacles if you give them power. When you live in the end, you are not swayed by appearances. You know that the outer world is the reflection of past states of consciousness, and that it has no power to dictate your present or future. Your focus remains steadfast on the feeling of the wish fulfilled. For this feeling is the creative force that shapes your reality. Living in the end is not a passive state. It is an active and deliberate practice. It requires discipline to maintain your focus and faith to trust in the unseen. You may find yourself tempted to return to old patterns of thought, to dwell on lack or limitation. But each time you redirect your attention to the state of your fulfilled desire, you strengthen your alignment with that reality. Over time, this state becomes natural, the dominant vibration of your being. You do not need to concern yourself with how your desire will come to pass. The how is not your responsibility. It is the work of the creative power within you. Your task is simply to live in the end, to assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and trust in the process. The means will unfold in ways you cannot predict, often through a series of seemingly unrelated events that lead you effortlessly to your goal. When you live in the end, you transcend the limitations of the physical world. You are no longer bound by circumstances or conditions, for you know that these are but reflections of past states of consciousness. You are free to create anew, to imagine and embody the reality you desire. This freedom is your birthright, the natural expression of your creative power. The beauty of living in the end is its simplicity. It does not require elaborate rituals, special tools, or external validation. All it asks is that you turn inward, that you align your consciousness with the reality you wish to experience. In this alignment, you find the peace, joy, and fulfillment that you seek. For you are no longer a seeker, but a creator. Each moment offers you the opportunity to live in the end. As you go about your day, let the feeling of your fulfilled desire guide your thoughts and actions. When doubt arises, remind yourself of the truth that the outer world is but a shadow of your inner state. Return to the feeling of the wish fulfilled and let it become the foundation of your reality. Through this practice, you will come to know the power of consciousness and the truth of creation. You will see that your life is not shaped by chance or circumstance, but by the states of being you choose to inhabit. When you live in the end, you align yourself with the infinite potential of consciousness and bring forth a reality that reflects the beauty and abundance of your inner vision. Begin now. Close your eyes and see the world as it would appear if your wish were already fulfilled. Feel it, believe it, live it. Let this feeling become your dwelling place, the foundation upon which you build your life. In this state, you are no longer bound by the limitations of the senses or the constraints of the physical world. You are free to create, to imagine, to live in the end. This is the art of creation, the key to unlocking the limitless power within you. The power of persistence in imagining lies in its ability to transform the unseen into the seen, the intangible into the tangible. To persist in your assumption of the wish fulfilled is to remain unwavering in your faith, no matter what the outer world seems to reflect. This persistence is not about force or struggle, but about holding steadfast to the reality you have claimed in consciousness. It is the act of remaining loyal to your vision, knowing that the external must ultimately conform to the internal. It ultimately becomes the external conforming. To understand the significance of persistence, consider the nature of creation itself. All things begin as formless potential within consciousness. They are brought into being through sustained attention and feeling. When you imagine a scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire and persist in that state, You impress it upon the subconscious mind. The subconscious, being the creative power within you, accepts this impression and brings it into manifestation. Yet, many falter because they allow the evidence of their senses to dictate their beliefs. They observe the world as it is and conclude that their desires are far from reach. But to persist in imagining is to rise above appearances, to see beyond the transient and claim the eternal. The senses may tell you one story, but imagination tells another. To persist is to choose the story of your imagination, to dwell in the reality of your wish fulfilled until it becomes the dominant experience of your life. Persistence requires faith, not in some external force, but in the law of consciousness itself. This law is unchanging and unwavering. As you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and persist in that assumption, you set the creative power of the universe into motion. Doubt, fear, and hesitation have no place in this process, for they disrupt the impression you seek to make upon the subconscious. When you persist, you silence these doubts, anchoring yourself firmly in the conviction that your desire is already realized. Think of persistence as the act of watering a seed. When you plant a seed in fertile soil, you do not see immediate results. Days, weeks, or even months may pass before the first sprout appears. But you do not dig up the seed in impatience or despair. Instead, you water it, nurture it, and trust that it will grow. So it is with your desires. When you persist in imagining, you are watering the seed of your wish, nurturing it with the feeling of fulfillment until it blossoms into reality. Persistence is not about forcing yourself to imagine constantly, but about returning to the state of the wish fulfilled whenever your attention wavers. Life may present challenges and distractions, but these are opportunities to strengthen your practice. Each time you notice your thoughts drifting toward doubt or fear, gently bring them back to your vision. Reimagine the scene, feel the reality of your desire, and reaffirm your faith in its fulfillment. This process is not about denial or repression of your current circumstances. It is about transcending them. To persist in imagining is to acknowledge the present while choosing to dwell in the reality of your desire. It is to recognize that the outer world is a reflection of past states of consciousness, and that it holds no power over the present or future. By persisting in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you rewrite the script of your life, creating a new reality from within. The key to persistence is consistency. It is not enough to imagine your desire once and then forget it. The impression upon the subconscious must be repeated until it takes root. This repetition is not about effort, but about immersion. When you imagine your wish fulfilled, you must feel it as real, vivid, and immediate. The more you dwell in this feeling, the more natural it becomes, until it feels as though it has always been true. You may encounter moments when doubt seems overwhelming, when the outer world appears to contradict your vision. In these moments, remember that persistence is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. The manifestation of your desire may not come in the way or the time you expect, but it will come. The law cannot fail, for it is rooted in the very nature of consciousness. Your task is simply to remain loyal to your vision, trusting in its inevitability. Persistence is not a burden, it is a joy. When you truly embrace the feeling of your wish fulfilled, it becomes a source of inspiration and delight. Each moment spent in this state is a step closer to its manifestation. You are not waiting for something to happen. You are living in the reality of your desire, experiencing its fulfillment in consciousness even before it appears in the physical world. The beauty of persistence is that it transforms you as much as it transforms your circumstances. As you persist in imagining, you begin to embody the qualities and characteristics of the person you wish to become. You think, feel, and act in alignment with your desired reality. This alignment creates a magnetic force that draws your desire to you effortlessly and naturally. To persist is to trust in the creative power within you, to know that your imagination is the source of all creation. It is to recognize that you are not a passive observer of life, but an active participant, shaping your reality through the states of consciousness you choose to inhabit. When you persist in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you align yourself with the infinite potential of consciousness, bringing forth a reality that reflects the beauty, abundance, and joy of your inner vision. Begin now. Close your eyes and imagine the life you desire. See it clearly, feel it deeply, and know that it is already yours. As you persist in this state, you will find that the outer world begins to shift, conforming to the reality you have claimed. This is the power of persistence in imagining, the key to unlocking the limitless potential within you. To understand the true power of imagination, one must grasp the relationship between thought, feeling, and manifestation. Every thought that enters your mind is accompanied by an emotional charge that either aligns you with the reality you wish to experience or keeps you anchored in the reality you already have. Your thoughts, when coupled with strong emotions, impress themselves upon your subconscious mind, which in turn shapes your external world. The law of attraction, which governs the process of creation, operates not on thoughts alone, but on the feelings that accompany them. Thought without feeling is inert. It lacks the power to create. But thought infused with emotion is a dynamic force, capable of shaping the course of your life. The importance of feeling cannot be overstated. Feeling is the bridge between the conscious mind, where thoughts arise, and the subconscious mind, which is the seat of creation. When you entertain a thought that implies the fulfillment of a desire, it must be felt as real in order for it to take root in the subconscious. This is why simply thinking about your goals is not enough. You must feel them as already fulfilled. Feeling is not enough. You must feel them as already fulfilled. This feeling is what gives life to your thoughts and transforms them into a tangible reality. Take a moment to consider your current state of being. What emotions do you carry with you throughout the day? Are they aligned with your desires, or are they reflections of past experiences, doubts, or fears? Your emotions are the telltale signs of the beliefs you hold in your subconscious mind. If your emotions are not in alignment with the reality you wish to create, then the thoughts you entertain will only reinforce the old patterns of thought that have already manifested in your life. The driving pattern of thought that have already manifested in your life. To change your outer world, you must first change the emotional state in which you live. The key to changing your emotional state lies in imagination. Imagination is the faculty that allows you to experience an event or condition before it has manifested in the physical world. When you imagine your desire is already fulfilled and feel the joy, peace, or satisfaction that accompanies its fulfillment, you impress this emotional experience upon the subconscious. This emotional impression is what drives the creative process. To imagine effectively, you must create a mental scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire. This scene should be specific, vivid, and charged with the appropriate emotion. For example, if your desire is financial abundance, imagine yourself in a situation where you are freely spending money, feeling a sense of freedom and security. The scene itself is not as important as the emotion it evokes. As you engage with this scene, allow yourself to feel the emotions that would naturally arise from such a situation. You might feel gratitude, relief, or joy. Whatever the emotion, it must be real to you in that moment. The stronger and more vivid the emotion, the more powerful the impression you make upon the subconscious. The reason this emotional engagement is so crucial is because the subconscious mind does not distinguish between a vivid mental image and an actual physical experience. When you imagine a scene with strong emotion, your subconscious accepts it as if it were already happening. This is why the law of attraction is so powerful. Your emotional state is the key that unlocks the door to manifestation. If you can feel as though your desire is already fulfilled, the subconscious will begin to rearrange the conditions of your life to bring that desire into physical reality. But there is another layer to this process: the cultivation of a persistent state of feeling. It is not enough to imagine once and hope for a result. Persistence is essential in bringing about change. Each time you imagine your desire, you are strengthening the emotional charge that you are impressing upon the subconscious. The more frequently you visit the scene of your fulfilled desire, the more natural and real it becomes. Your emotions begin to shift from a state of lack to a state of abundance. And this shift in feeling is what eventually alters your circumstances. The minute anything starts to go wrong in your life, you have to make a determination. It is important to note that persistence in imagination does not mean obsessing over your desires or forcing a certain outcome. Rather, it is about cultivating the feeling of your wish fulfilled and allowing it to become the dominant emotion of your life. Over time, this emotion will align you with the frequency of your desire, and your outer world will begin to reflect the new state of being you have assumed. Success is a process of vanishing the feeling of failure, and your outer world will begin to reflect the new state of being you have assumed. One of the most profound aspects of this process is the recognition that the world around you is a mirror of your internal state. Your environment, your relationships, and your experiences all reflect the thoughts and feelings that you hold within. When you change your emotional state, you change the reflection in the mirror. This is why it is so crucial to align your emotions with your desired reality. If you feel joy, peace, and fulfillment, the world must reflect these emotions back to you. Your energy, as you continue to practice imagining and feeling your desires as already fulfilled, you may begin to notice subtle changes in your external world. Opportunities will arise. People will be drawn to you, and circumstances will shift in ways that support your new state of being. These changes may seem small at first, but they are the seeds of greater transformation. The more you persist in your emotional state, the more these seeds will grow, and eventually your external reality will fully align with the vision you have created. Next thing you know, the power of feeling is not limited to any one area of life, Whether you desire success in your career, a loving relationship, or perfect health, the process remains the same. You must create a mental scene that reflects your desire, and you must feel the emotions associated with it as if it is already your present reality. This emotional engagement is the driving force behind the creative process, and it is through the cultivation of these feelings that your desires are brought into form. In conclusion, the true power of imagination lies in its ability to evoke emotion. It is the emotional charge that gives life to your thoughts and transforms them into reality. To change your world, you must first change your emotional state by imagining your desires as already fulfilled and feeling the emotions that come with that fulfillment. Through persistence in this practice, you will align your internal world with the external, and the law of attraction will bring forth the circumstances that reflect your new state of being. When you master the art of feeling your desires as already fulfilled, you become a conscious creator, shaping your life through the power of your imagination. In closing, the path to manifesting your desires lies within the profound understanding that creation begins within the mind and heart. By aligning your thoughts and feelings with the reality you wish to experience, you awaken the infinite creative power within you. The external world is a mirror, reflecting the state of consciousness you maintain. Through imagination, persistence, and a deep emotional connection to your desires, you reshape your inner world, thereby transforming your outer circumstances. And there, my favorite saying begins: the true secret of your success is to create a life in which you truly belong. This process is not about striving or struggling. It is about embodying the feeling of your wish fulfilled, trusting in the unseen forces of creation and allowing them to unfold naturally. As you persist in living from the end, believing in the reality of your desires, you will begin to notice subtle shifts in your life, and these shifts will eventually culminate in the full manifestation of your dreams. Remember, imagination is the gateway to all possibility. The power to change your world lies not in what you see with your eyes, but in what you believe and feel in your heart. The more vividly you imagine, the more real your desires will become, and the more natural it will feel to live in the reality of your dreams. Trust in this process, be consistent in your practice, and know that the universe must respond to your inner state. Your dreams are not distant, but already within your reach, awaiting your recognition and acceptance.